Kids know that you're at home, all of those issues. So there is a lot to learn as well as lots to adjust in this for all of us, I believe. So that's one of the reasons for joining.
Excellent, excellent, Yuma. So it's timely as you all go through so many changes, like a burst of change, right? So it's sometimes different people, the coping with that change is a real challenge. Yeah, I understand you more. Yeah. In fact, so almost close to 2 years now, right? Almost 2 years. It's a long stint, my goodness. Right. Yeah, Hema, you want to share?
Yeah, actually, we are facing very challenging period. So we are facing a lot of difficulties to manage people, and now we are keeping HR in a side, and we are going behind with the pandemic. So our training, the performance, everything stopped. Now our main trainer is PHI, and we are struggling with those things. So all the trainings are, and we are always looking at main three principles: social distancing, hand washing, wearing mask. So these are the now current HR practices. So we are passing a very challenging period. So it's very important to have this session.
Thank you for
Thanks.
that sharing. That's excellent. Thank you for that sharing. Yes, we are really challenged in a way that one way you can't keep all the other things aside, right? Everything has to move on, and then also we are forced to keep things aside as well, right? So this is what the dilemma that we are in most of the time. But again, as we know, the humanity has gone through such challenges continuously. We still have that power to cope up and really adapt to certain situations. So let's see how far that we can draw out some learning today out of this small window, right? Even though I make use of a slide, I would like your contribution. So one more contribution, please.
Jay, can I add?
Yes, please. Yes, Tarka, go ahead.
Sorry, I can't switch on my camera at the moment.
That's quite all right.
But anyway, I quite agree with Yomal and Hemal, and also the way we dealt with things before COVID, human emotions, the team management, you mentioned at any given scenario at corporate situation. And we are keep forgetting these things now. I don't know how, but since we are in a digital, virtual, distant connection, we are losing our touch, how we handle things at a face-to-face level, like at a very physical platforms. So we are finding new ways and yet struggling to manage our emotions as well as people, those who are around us. So that's the very reason I'm joining to this. So gaining in information, in emotional intelligence, emotional aspects, it's a continuous journey. That's the very reason. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So you're nicely you put it, like for us to remind us the new way to connect emotionally, isn't it? Wow. In a different context, how we can really connect to people, right? Okay. Yes. So now just there's a disclaimer. So I actually was thinking of a topic that can serve our communities, and then I asked the question back whether I am suitable to talk something like this. And in that journey, I spent quite a number of hours in terms of justifying myself around it. And you can see when we communicated, I wanted like anyone who received this to see that it is important. At the same time, not to get offended about it also. So I purposely removed the mental well-being part of it. But actually, so we are going to cover other than the physical well-being, so we can touch it in a separate session, but mostly like how this mental well-being and emotions are really driving us sometimes into autopilot, and how it is perceived by the others. So I'm going to take you through a journey where how it is helping you, because you are very important in this space as the leader, as the person who really strategize things. So starting with you, and we'll see how it can be applied to others as well. So my resource base, I'm going to share with you. So there are very yeah. So yes. So thank you for participating, and I would like you to really engage when I wanted. So I'm going to share the slide, and let's see how we can move forward. Okay. Right. Can one of you give me a feedback whether you can see this? Can you all?
Yes, Jay.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Thank you for the feedback. Okay. Now. Okay. So let me ask you, starting with a question. If someone asks you, like, what is it? What is this mental well-being? Is it something that we all need to know, or we need to? Is it something that we all need to participate? Workplace and also at home, right? And in the journey of exploring, I found there are thousands of different perspectives, views, and definitions, right? Then finally, I came across something like this. So let us set the bar. So I'm going to take you through a recording, right? I just want you to make sure, listen to that, and then see how that resonates with you. Okay, so that is kind of baseline that we come out with. I can then request you to define your own what mental well-being and how it is at work when it comes to different contexts for you. Okay, so let me invite you to listen. And just before getting into that listening, so what I'm going to do here today is basically, there are 4 things. So what I'm going to do is, we are going to look at why it is important, the mental well-being, and then understand the impact of it, right? And how thoughts and feelings driving us, and also learning about stress a little bit. It's a big part. And then finally learning objectives, the 4th learning objectives, to experience maybe 2 or maximum 3 tools, right? And so just before going there, I would like you to listen to this, and then we'll have a little discussion around that. Okay. So, and someone misses the recording, you can read it also on your own, right? Okay, let's listen. Okay, so I think volume was dropped, so I'm going to replay it. Okay. You are mentally healthy if you enjoy being with most of the people you know, especially with the important people in your life, such as family, sexual partners, and friends. Generally, you are happy and are more than willing to help an unhappy family member, friend, or colleague to feel better. You lead a mostly tension-free life, laugh a lot, and rarely suffer from aches and pains that so many people accept as an unavoidable part of living. You enjoy life and have no trouble accepting other people who think and act differently from you. It rarely occurs to you to criticize or try to change anyone. If you have difference with someone else, you will try to work out the problem. If you can't, you will walk away before you argue and increase the difficulty. You are creative in what you attempt and may enjoy more of your potential than you ever thought possible. Finally, even in very difficult situations, when you are unhappy, no one can be happy at all the time. You know why you are unhappy and attempt to do something about it. You may even be physically handicapped, as was Christopher Reeves, and still fit in the criteria above. Okay, so you listen to that. Christopher Reeves is the actor who acted as Superman, right? Famous Christopher Reeves. And he also had an injury, and later when he lived a different life. So, okay, let me ask you, when you listen to that description, where did you fit in? And I see a huge mismatch with that description and where I am. How is it for you? Can someone share? I would really like to be in that state as a human being all the time. What do you think? Yes? Can someone share your thoughts? Vasanthi? Vasanthi, how about that when you're listening? Are you in a position to talk? Or Suhad? Hi, Suhad. Okay.
Hi. Yes, Jan.
Yes, Suhad, when you're listening to that, were you there? So what is it? What came to your mind?
Actually, I just joined in. Jan.
Okay, no problem. Anyone like to share what are your thoughts? So for me, definitely I am not there. I'm somewhere. Right?
Hi, Jayant. This is Zainat.
Hi, Zainat. Go ahead.
Hi. So I think it's very similar. I also think I'm not there, but that's where I want to aspire to if I can.
Yeah. Excellent. So this is very idealistic. So as a definition of a mental well-being, right? But again, so when you see, like I'm sharing the slides again, so you can see that all of us will be in this continuum, right? There are many definitions. I just kept them. I'll share these slides if you really want, right? So you can see that it's more towards this continuum of mental health continuum, wherever that we can be in, right? Towards the green side, more of healthy, positive mental health, and towards the red side, unwell mental illness also. The danger here is, as Yomal started sharing, first thing, we are so autopilot and we are so involved, we don't know where we are sometimes, right? We are not very much connected to our own thoughts and feelings, and we are really unconscious of where we are because we are so much to deal with in our plates, and there are so many things, right? So basically, the first thing is to catch where we are in terms of in this continuum, right? Then you can see, say, vulnerable, common, and self-limiting distress. So suppose that we as a team, like say, with knowledge, let's suppose your organization or maybe at home. So when you have some knowledge about this, the possibility that we can participate in terms of catching where we are is really important. So this is where that I think the whole humanity has given that opportunity with this pandemic and all changes happening. And change was not new, but this is a different format of change. So in that, first thing is to recognize whether we are stressed, whether we are, in frustration, or whether we are in a much a kind of towards a burnout, right? Prevention is better than cure. So as I use this word participate, we all can participate at this stage of recognizing where we are. So it is for the self as well as our team member or our family member. So I'm not going to discuss all the challenges that we face. We know very well that whatever happens with our children, with the country situation, and then we are in a crisis altogether, right? So we don't know the decisions that we make can be implemented next day. But still, there is a grave need that we need to be strong and coping with these things, coping with the relationship, then move along with the intentions and goals that we set for ourselves, and as well as the outcomes that we hold for others also. So as a coach also, I see that the self-care and caring for others are coming in a very powerful way, significant way into our workspace as well as in our personal life today, right? So because of that, so I'm thinking of doing a mentee. So if you are comfortable and you can do it, so I'm going to share a link in the chat box, and let me share the mentee in the chat box. What I would like you to do is to participate in that. Give me a second, I'll share the mentee. So let us see that where we are in terms of well-being. So while I'm sharing it, so I would like you to think, how would you rate your well-being in these 4 aspects or 4 areas of your life: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, right? So let me copy the link, and after that I'll share the results. So chat. Okay, you can click on, I copied it now. You can click on that link. Sorry. Okay, so can you all see that link? So I would like you to participate in that, and by the time I'll share it. So you give a minute or so. Yeah. So click the link and just participate in that. Can you all see it? How far it is helping you? So I still can't see the results. Yeah, okay. All right, can you see the result? It's changing. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's changing fast. Physical, emotional, so mental comes 6.8 and spiritual. Yeah, so you can see that I can see something all equally, everything has an importance, and mental and spiritual comes it's leading right now, right? Okay, so basically, now we understand in all aspects, well-being is really important. It's really interesting to see that the result, it's in all aspects of well-being that we are interested to maintain some kind of balance, right? Okay, so I think with this understanding, I'm stopping the sharing and go back to the presentation. So let me share quickly some kind of basic understanding about what other scholars says in terms of burnout, or that can, whatever the danger that we have if we just ignore the mental well-being, right? Poor well-being overall, you can see that long-term well-being. Now, so that's why when Yumal shared, so I said it's almost 2 years. So it's long-term, right? Continuously we are bombarded with challenges, and it can cause, it can lower our well-being, right? And then you can see it comes out as a dissatisfaction, resentment, anger, right? Some kind of a physical reaction also, right? So, and also you can see with the loneliness, a kind of distancing our grandparents and our siblings. There's a big distance also in place, right? So burnout, and that is the prolonged period of stress can create burnout, and many research that you can find that how it is impacting our physiology also, the physical body also. So we may not need to really discount or ignore this fact that knowingly or unknowingly we are actually going towards a cliff. And so what we need is over time not to jump over the cliff, right? So basically spotting and recognizing that where we are in terms of our levels of stress and levels of mental well-being is so important. And I may not spend a lot of time here. Now we understand that with the baseline description that we looked at, we are very happy. We are in a very good state of mind if we can be in all this, like as Japanese, the Michiko Mano, the 1917 introduced this Ikigai, right? So Ikigai is about that state of being, right? So based on your strengths, what you are good at, and that what you are good at has a need for the world, right? It creates a purpose then, right? And also you can live with that. So you're making use of what you like and what you're good at to make money, and overall kind of happiness. It's with a purpose. So personal level, yes, and also you can see organizations. If you just take an organization as a person, right? You can imagine that organization needs a collectively that we need to achieve that. There's a shared purpose, there's a shared vision, and there are shared strategies as departments, and to achieve whatever that is agreed upon. But the challenge is now the contextual changes are really challenging the speed of change, the pace of change, and it's all creating havoc, right? So how it is personally, or maybe as a team, the levels of interference, there can be seen interference externally, but there is so much of interference internally inside us also. So this is where that I would like you to pay attention today. There can be some known interference, and there can be some unknown interference, like lava underneath the crust. Volcanoes can erupt, right? So basically what I would like you to focus here is to see how you can really manage this, right? And here, I would like to invite you to see, like, we are always in thinking. And right now, with the current climate or the landscape that we are in, this thinking is 90% in reaction, right? So even the tiniest thing, okay, how do I, fulfill the gap of my child's education and experience is a challenge for me, right? I am reacting to it, right? Whether my branch or the department is open or go hybrid, or how can I be, my priority has become, the safety has become my priority. How can I, what is in my control and what is not. So all these things are coming from a space of reaction, right? It triggers so much of thought. And as you know, for a person, the latest research, it says like 60,000 to 90,000 thoughts being generated for a day. So those being monitored, right? Now, if you can see 90% of that is reaction, right? Reactiveness, that creates a huge, a kind of, it bottles us up with a lot of unnecessary chemicals and unnecessary pressure, right? But again, each one of us has the abilities, like kind of capability to respond to different reactions, right? Different situations. I just pulled out this word. So this is generalizing, but again, so even if it's personal life or business life or role that you play, so that's going to be more of a crisis. And the dictionary meaning of crisis is, so you can see all this is explained very well. It's a hard time, it's troubled time, right? This stress is there, difficulties there, adversity is there. But again, we need to move forward with all that. So economic crisis, health crisis, all in crisis. So in that, my invitation for you is, don't wait for a psychiatrist. Don't wait for a medical intervention. So this is, I just drawn it out from WHO, World Health Organization. All of you can go in there and just type psychological first aid, right? So in that site, there are enough of resources that you can find. My duty is to educate you or to tell you that first aid is the best way to deal with this, because we don't want things to aggravate, right? We need to intervene at the at immediate point that you recognize that we are in a stressful situation, right? So I don't mean to say stress is bad, stress is good. But again, if it is overly stressed with the current context, so the psychological first aid is required, right? Psychological first aid, basic emotions and practical support. So simple acts that you do can offer practical support, right? And you know how to support a person. And we are a nation that we have faced much high intense crises, right? Tsunami and various challenges that we faced. We had a war, so people went through all that, but now in a different form that we are in a war again, to really impact that has an impact on our children, to everybody, right? So that's where, like, I think I'm inviting you, focus on supporting your subordinates, supporting your siblings, your relations, your colleagues who are going through this tough time, right? And this is related to any other crisis. And I just got in this perspective of a crisis. It may be felt in different levels for each one of you, but still, we can help somebody in this space, right? So let me take you through how I would like to ask you, how would you respond to a crisis generally? Can someone share? So I'll start. How would you respond to a crisis generally? What is your default way of responding to a crisis? I would like to listen to you. Save my time. I can share more then. Please. I know all of you are professionals here. How would you respond to a crisis? Generally, what is your way of responding? Shall I share mine? Generally, I get a bit reactive in the beginning. I'm getting anxious, but then in the process, then that is how I am. And then in the process that I settle down. That is my default.
Jayant, I was going to say the same thing. Firefighting at the beginning. If there's some time to settle down, I would plan ahead. If not, freeze or flight.
Excellent. You have that knowledge. So that is beautiful. So we need to really see whether what role that I play in a crisis. Am I a rescuer in a crisis? Am I a victim in a crisis? Am I a prosecutor? So prosecutor or kind of a person who's powerful, right? Helper who's powerful in a different way, right? So what kind of role that I play when I am facing a crisis? So, and then also this can be used to look at how my team members or how my family member is responding to it or reacting to it. Is it reacting to it? So you can see the behavior, you can see the words that is being used, right? So if it is a victim, you can see most of the time not taking the responsibility, blaming others, not accountable for the emotions and the words spoke, and so you can see not accountable for action and in a real panic that we are in when we feel that we are victimized, right? So you can see sometimes, as someone said in the beginning, I think it's Saraka said, like we are actually totally operating ourselves in a very different way, most of the time in front of a computer, right? Even kids, now they are looking at a screen, right? Right now, that's the situation. And can you see the kind of the basic human need is not being met? It creates a lot of stress. We all like to connect to each other, visit, the freedom to walk around and watch things and get engaged the way that we want. So all that is being curtailed. So it brings in a lot of pressure, right? That is where that we really need to be powerful to be a rescuer than a victim. For us, whoever who is in this space now, in this learning, I am inviting you to be a rescuer or a prosecutor and engage with those situations in supporting, like giving more of mental first aid to our colleagues, our subordinates. That's an invitation. So with that, as you are recognizing and like different moments when there is a threat, we can choose to change the roles. Yes, as we discussed, we take it as a victim, but then there is a choice with that facing that victim state. If you are conscious, you can choose a different role. You can, it's like a bait for a fish. You can just see whether I'm biting it or not, right? So that is where that consciousness matters a lot. That is where that we need to develop our other skills. Now, most of you who are in corporates, we know that we need stress. Stress is needed, right? We need the drive. We need that arrogance sometimes. We need things to be things to complete, and we need teams to have that sporting spirit, and we need to create solutions. So while we look at stress and kind of challenges that we face and how it is impacting us, another thing that I would like you to do is like really to see how all this is coming to you as an energy, right? So the energy is burnt in a way that are you playing not to lose? Are you playing in a reactive way? Or are you really turning that energy to towards a purpose, towards a strong intention, towards helping the organization, towards helping the people, the team member, towards helping a family member? So that's where that you can be purposeful. You ground your energy in purpose, ground your energy in motivation, and then you can really turn that energy, which is sometimes a negative energy, more towards a positive energy. So, as you know, I know there are mothers here, fathers here. The most stressful thing in life is parenting sometimes, right? So, sorry about people who don't have that experience, but yet, I just want to take that example. So prolonged stress then, so much stressful, right? Having a parenting and Sri Lankan context, after being adults also we want to parent. But still, if you see it's grounded with a strong purpose of, supporting my child, it is going to be a positive energy. So I would like invite you to see how far that you can turn this energies into positive energy. So you all know about, I assume that you know about change curve. Now, there may be several change projects happen in your head, and you can be in any phase in this curve, right? You can be in disillusionment, and you can be in a anger with somebody or some certain things, or with your own self. You can be in depression sometimes, right? So wherever you are, so you need help, and you need to be aware or maybe conscious of where you need support. And also you need to be conscious of where that you can offer support to the other people who are going through these changes, right? In that, so I'm inviting you to look at where the emotions are. So if you just think of a project, you don't need to do that now, but think of a project and see where you are. What kind of emotion? Where is in the spiral that you are in? Are you in a downward spiral or upward spiral, right? So maybe different parts of your engagement, you can see different projects, different people that you associate. Where is this, right? So basically, this awareness is important for you to take it forward. And if somebody likes, I can share this article. The latest research says very clearly proves that scientifically, all this stress creates whatever the hormones that it creates, right? Clearly have an impact on the memory, process of memory. There are the executive functions happening in the prefrontal cortex, and then the amygdala, right? And then the basically the parts of the brain being affected. It is really impacting your behavior, right? So we see that it happens in the society also. When people are pressurized, they are angry and they are frustrated. You can see it in their faces, and you can see the way they react to things. So this is going to be very dangerous if you don't extend our health, even society-wise, right? So I'm now taking this time for you to do a little exercise. I'm going to play a recording and inviting you, all of you, to follow that. So I want you to sit properly wherever that you are. And then I know some of you are in the office, but yet try to focus on this and do this exercise and see, tell me like how it is impacting you right now in the moment. Okay. So I'm going to play this. Get ready. 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Gently close your eyes and come into the present moment. Bring your attention to your body. sitting here comfortably. Feet are grounded into the floor. Hands are resting on your lap. Now, tense the right hand and forearm. Make a fist with your right hand and hold tightly for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now relax. Now, tense the right upper arm. Raise your forearm to make a right angle with your shoulder and hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax. Now, tense the left hand and forearm for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax. Now, the left upper arm. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax. Now, the forehead. Raise your eyebrows as high as they can go, as though you are surprised by something. Hold here for 5. And relax. Eyes and cheeks now. Squeeze your eyes tight shut and tense your upper cheeks for the count of 5. Relax. Now, the mouth and jaw. Open your mouth as wide as you can, as if you are yawning. Hold for 5. And then relax. Moving to the neck now. Take special care when tensing these muscles, as we tend to hold a lot of tension in the neck. Gently tilt your head back as if you are looking at the ceiling. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax. Now the shoulders. Bring your shoulders up towards your ears and hold here for 5. And relax for 10. Moving to the shoulder blades and back now. Press your shoulder blades backwards as if you're trying to touch them together. Puff your chest out. Hold for 5. And relax for 10. Now the chest and belly. Take a deep breath in, filling up your lungs and chest with air. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. Hips and buttocks now. Squeeze your buttock muscles for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax. Moving to the right upper leg, tense the muscles in your right thigh for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax. The right lower leg now, leaving your feet planted on the floor. Carefully pull your toes towards you to stretch and tense the calf muscle. Hold for 5. And relax for 10. Now the right foot. Leave your heel planted and raise your toes. From here, curl your toes downwards and hold for 5. And relax.
All right, so just shake your body a little bit. And how is it for you? What is your experience? How do you feel? How do you feel? Can someone share? One person? So this muscle tension, so you can relaxation that you can offer when you're tensed. How is it for you? Can you feel it in your body? Can someone like to share? Anybody?
Felt
Yes.
relax, Jay. Seriously, after such a long time, yeah.
Oh, yes. So the idea here is, now sometimes we think a lot of things like we need to go to the gym, this, that, but still it's so important to see like little things that you do within your control, right? So that is so important that we see that how it can help others also. So in your office, thank you, Taraka. So it's really a need now than before. So I'm going to take it forward.
Gently close your eyes.
Sorry. Now you know that we need to the combination of whatever happening in our brain to our responses, right? It is known, and also there is a big part of whatever the words that we use in the conversational space that affecting that such reaction, the feedback that we give in the workplace, how we give those feedback, it all creates reaction. So we can be little bit different than before now. We need to be more empathetic now. So as Taraka spotted, like we need to be able to connect in a different way now. So I just want you to look at this video. This is a contact sport, and I have this sport. I have a lot of respect for both, and I would like you to spot the difference between these two types of fighters. Okay.
En met de traptechniek naar het hoofd. Christophe Pina opent met de aanval, wat te verwachten is. En dan wordt het overgenomen door Christian Tichet. En dat is Aikido. Dit echte gevecht vind ik het altijd heel interessant. Om dan te kijken hoe effectief een van de sporten zijn. Zo moet ik het eigenlijk zeggen, ja. En je hebt natuurlijk tegenwoordig dat de sporten dichter bij elkaar komen. Veel technieken die de ene en de andere sport van elkaar overnemen.
Okay. So two types of two styles. What you see the difference? There you see the difference between two. Who like to share? Yoga? Hi. Are you in a position to share what you spotted? What's the phone? Anyone? What is the difference that you notice? This is one is a karate player and the other one is an Aikido player. Both are like two different types of fighting. What is the significant differences that you see between both? Anybody? Prasanna? Yes, Srinath. Yeah, go ahead.
Not sure if it's correct, Jayant. What I saw was the way they reacted. One was attacking, the other one defending, right?
Wow. Yeah. So is there a different word for defending there? Can you see that there's two different energies, right? As you rightly said, one was having attacking energy, more of direct hit. Other one, the sport is called Aikido. You can see that other one is redirecting the energy. He's just misleading it, or he just redirecting it. You notice that, Sina? It's a way of defense, but not still directly hitting. So my request is now you learn to spot your the kind of energy that comes out with stress. Now it's good that we don't fight against it and hit against it. No need of direct contact, but you learn to shift, or you learn to pivot that energy like Aikido player. It's very simple to say like this, but that is where that we need to master. How you can do that is spot that when you're tensed, when you are tensed, or maybe your team member is tensed. Now you know, as a community, it's a good like family help each other. Maybe your team members, when you in these circumstances, you become more observant on those signals and really help them to shift their energy or redirect their energy into a more productive energy, right? So that way, I think it's very important whoever who is stressed, I think McKinsey's also did a research around that to really come out from that. And otherwise, if the nature of human being is, if they are stressed, there's a tendency to bottle it up. So basically that bottling happen. Yeah. So if you can go mute, please. All right. So basically that is the message that I want to share. So play Aikido, play mental Aikido, and participate in supporting someone to really become to come out from stress, to come out from whatever the hard circumstances that he's facing. So extend that hand, participate in this the whole kind of mental first aid. So it is possible with everybody. It is possible with you, with whatever the skills that you already have as a HR person, as a manager. So this is the time and to save someone. So I would like to invite you to be a rescuer in this space and really have that pride, take people through this journey, this tough times. So with that, let me say thank you for your participation. And if someone wants to say something as a closing remark, so I'm really happy to receive that. And let me thank Pushani and Amanda also to who organized this, and also for your participation. We greatly appreciate. And we have about 17 different tools around how to reduce stress and how to be a mental first aider. So if someone of you really want to know, to reach out to Pushani or Amanda, so we can see how we can support you to your workplace in that space. Yes. With that, yeah. So if someone like to share your final thought. I'll be silent till you share. Yep. Anybody?
Hi, Jonathan. This is Yoga. Just want to thank.
Hi, Yoga.
Hi. I'm so sorry. I just missed to answer that question also at the same time the call. So I just just missed 5 minutes, but I joined later. Thank you so much. I think that's quite important topic, especially understanding what we all go through these days. Everybody is having certain level of stress created due to the environmental factors. So it's really worthy cause at this time. So just want to thank you.
Thank you for your time as well. And Yoga, may I ask one question? So what is your takeaway for today? Just one. I know you came a little late, but that's fine.
Yeah, no, basically that's within you. I mean, just not the external factors, it just comes from you. And also you need to know how to redirect it into a way where you can actually just create an opportunity out of the stress.
Fantastic. So it's in you, and you redirect, and you're supporting someone else also to do that. Fantastic. Thank you, Yoga, for your sharing.
Thank you so much.
And we'll meet again. Take care. Bye.
You too. Stay safe. Thanks. Bye.
Stay safe, you all too. Thank you.
Thank you, Jayanta.
Thanks, Vinod. Thanks a lot. Bye. We'll meet again in a session.
Thanks, Jayanta. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hema. Thank you, Taraka, for your participation.
Thanks, Jay. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Jayanta.
Hi, Ruvini. Thanks. Thank you for your participation. Excellent. Take care. So if anyone wants to clarify anything, please stay back. And we are going to stay back a little bit, Amanda and Pushani. I see many Amandas.